Hi, I'm Dr. Jay Varma, and today I'm breaking down whether you should be worried about flu in 2025. First, we're going to discuss why I'm predicting and fearing that we might have a very bad flu season here in 2025. The first reason is that there are new mutations in one of the influenza strains called H3N2. And these strains seem to have evolved earlier this year before they could be incorporated into current vaccines. And they're causing a tremendous surge in flu hospitalizations in countries like Japan, the United Kingdom, and in other parts of the world. Second, we know that here in the United States, because of a number of different factors, particularly a rise of the anti-vaccine movement, fewer people than ever are getting vaccinated against influenza. And of course, in the wake of COVID-19, fewer people are taking the precautions that we know can potentially reduce transmission of respiratory viruses. Now, what are some of the reasons you should be taking precautions in 2025? Well, it turns out flu isn't just a problem for, people with severe underlying immune problems or young babies. In any flu season, and particularly one that's going to be bad, probably like 2025, you need to be worried about hospitals and clinics being overwhelmed. And when you have a new flu mutation and you're seeing surges already in other highly developed countries, you have to worry about the same thing happening here in the United States. And it's not just flu. Of course, fewer people are also getting seasonal COVID vaccines. So we know that people won't just be showing up with flu-like illness, but they're also likely to be showing up with COVID, RSV virus, and other seasonal winter viruses. And then it's also important to understand that COVID and flu don't just cause a cough and a cold. They are also associated with other complications that people don't often think about. They can increase your risk of heart attacks, they can increase the risk of strokes, and they can worsen diabetes if you have diabetes. So, what are the ways that you can boost your immune system? So, what I always recommend to people is to boost your immunity the natural way. What do I mean by the natural way? I actually mean vaccines. Seasonal flu vaccines use your natural immune system to protect you. And because of this new flu strain, we are worried, other scientists, the vaccine may only provide a partial protection. Now, we do have some early data from the UK suggesting that it can protect people somewhere between 30 to 50% of the time. So let's be clear about what partial protection means. Partial protection means that if you get the seasonal flu vaccine, you are less likely to get seriously ill, and you're less likely to need to go to an urgent care facility or to a hospital. What are some other ways you can boost your immune system the natural way? Well, we know the holiday season is a time for adults and some teenagers to go out and be a lot more active and to indulge yourself in going out to holiday parties and other things like that. And so we know that there are three things that people do less of that you actually should be doing more of during the winter respiratory virus season. So that means sleeping more, getting adequate sleep, drinking less alcohol, and exercising more. And those are all natural ways that you can boost your immunity against a flu virus. Now, it may not prevent you from getting infected, but it might prevent you from getting seriously ill, the same way a vaccine can protect you against getting seriously ill. And finally, it's important to keep in mind about extra precautions. Now, of course, all of us have a hangover from the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic and never want to return to those days. But we also have to keep in mind that some of those tools that we use during COVID can be extremely useful during a bad flu season. N95 and KN95 masks can help protect you, first of all, from getting infection, and second of all, from infecting others if you happen to be sick. This is particularly true when flying, and it's an important thing to do when people are traveling during the holiday season. Second of all, there are rapid test kits that you can get that also test for the flu, not just COVID. And having those test kits around can be very important if you live around family members that may be particularly vulnerable to some of the complications from flu. And finally, try to get a supply of Tamiflu or have a primary care doctor or an urgent care clinic ready for you if you happen to get sick. Tamiflu is a medication that can shorten the duration of illness. Now, it isn't particularly effective in adults under normal circumstances. It probably only shortens your illness by about 1 day, but it can be very helpful in people who are at much higher risk of severe complications, including young children and pregnant women. But the key is that it has to be taken early. That means within 48 hours of the onset of symptoms. And that's why it's important for you to either have a stockpile on hand or have a facility you can call urgently to get treated if you come down with symptoms of the flu. And I'm Dr. Jay Varma, here to help explain to you important topics that can keep you healthy, particularly during the upcoming winter virus season.